Yeah, how are you doing? You're right.
I'm doing okay. Had fun with Tim as well in that previous game. Cast at Oregon, which is normally our thing.
I mean, it's
sorry.
nice to give. No, but I listen. I'm happy for you to see other people. It's nice. It's nice to give Tim a stretch of Oregon.
I know he's stuck with Dez and he's just getting coastline,
like... mainly a break from Dez. I think it was nice to have. Okay, Heroic versus Cowana. They built up the intensity and possibility here, which is mainly on Covana's shoulders. This is Heroic's last hurrah in T1 as this entity for now. ... As they are obviously auto-relegated.
Yeah, that's it. They're auto-relegated. They do not play a relegation tournament. After this matchup, the next tournament they will play is potentially going to be French League, first of all. But if we're talking about Tier 2, Tier 3, that is Challenger League next year. That is what they will have to wait for. So they're going to have to make sure that this game counts because, well, not only that, but other teams kind of rely on Heroic being able to pick up some points here today against Cowana as well. It's going to be a tough ask, but, everything is possible inside of Siege. As we're getting underway, these are the 10 players to watch here. Blaz, of course, basically a bit of a superstar in the making, has had some issues with the pressure earlier on inside of the Challenger League, now got into EUL, said himself as well. Pressure was a bit much every now and then, but he really started to grow into his role and turned into quite a bit of a fragger himself. So excited to see what he can bring for his last match for now inside of EUL.
Well, here we go on to Villa. Cowana starting on the defense, and obviously the Nook ban is probably one of the most, I guess, interesting out of this set of 4. Removed by Heroic to stop, the plays around on the loose side. We've seen Nook can be a powerful operator, and we know that Cowana, especially in the hands of Benja, to be honest at the minute, who is driving that lone frag gun game, is a danger, is a worry, and is a bit of a tricky scenario for them to try and build themselves around.
For sure. The setup here, seeing if there's anything out of the ordinary on the side of Cowana. We see the default openings are becoming more and more default to challenge these the balcony. However, more often than not, we do see the teams actually going for a bedroom take, going for statuary, a trophy instead. That's exactly what Heroic is doing for now. They're getting up onto this balcony first. Just about to put up some pressure into the walk-in closet and potentially take, well, the bathroom and everything after that in quick succession as well.
Now, as they hop their way in, obviously we've seen a bit of a conversation about the role of the hard breach charge and how that might change some of the lineups and the potential. And to be honest, I'm kind of hoping Heroic are a team that flaunts around that idea today because they're always such an exciting team for leaning into new approaches, and Benja almost got lent into there. On the swing and the fight around trophy, drops down, hops in the middle, and finds a connection and a route down towards the bottom of the other staircase. Going to see if he can find his way back up on main, but it's Grizzly that closes the door on Chaoxus.
That's the first pick to come through. That's the Nomad taken care of. I'm not quite sure if any of the airships had been deployed yet. Otherwise, they're not coming into play now, meaning that they might be a bit more prone to potential flanks to come through. As Heroic still working and opening up these angles, as you can see right now, with that breaching charge just to cut down anybody from the hallway, potentially, if they will be pushing from that side. Now, they need to take the fight towards the 90. They need to take the fight towards the landing. And Heroic, well, just taking some shots. They want to get rid of the utility first before they start moving in.
A bit of patience, a bit of caution, and a bit of Blaz waiting in such a dangerous location here, wanting to swing around on the red side door as the pops start to come through over the shoulder. Shukri has the lockdown onto 90, and it's Gorgona that suffers first, and that's going to give an immediate little red flag that's going to start waving around the Cowana defense, because although they have Benja and Grizzly both watching on the other side, as long as Benja can keep a hold onto Study, they don't have the cleanest route through. Gets popped on top of the strategy table as they see if they can find some damage done underneath, but Heroic needs to try and dismantle at least one more area of Covana's hold.
Specifically Study. Let's put that one up with a bit of priority because that allows them to go for a bit of a safer plant. As Benja is still stuck inside here, Blaz has the opportunity to put up a bit of pressure, especially now he makes himself known, but continues to go towards the main stairs here with only 30 seconds left. Benja in a really good position to stop any plant from happening.
That's it. Benja's location here, as you said, is the integral part. The swing up the stairs goes Grizzly's way, finds himself a second either side of the long corridor. The grenade underneath doesn't quite get the full catch on Sloth, and Benja's causing problems with a hatch to drop out of, but he's holding this as a power position. They're going to try and drive their way through. The diffuser goes behind the strategy table. The spray over the top towards the balcony puts one more down and leaves Shukri lost behind the strategy table.
That's it, right? Benja here coming in clutch, coming in key, rather. Just being able to pick up the first, who swung right next to the strategy table, able to pick up the second one as well. Just alleviating so much pressure whilst being under so much pressure himself, because there was a player onto the balcony. There was a player earlier that was playing right below and had grenades available to be used to take Benja out of his current position. But none of that happened. And Cowana, well, they are picking up their first points here, their first round. It's a very good start, but they need to continue going if they want to make it to the major.
It's Villa as well. It's always a map that does often start in the way of the defenders. It gives you a little bit more of the hefty brick and mortar to play with. Granted, obviously in the most recent meta, and generally we've seen it swing to some attacker-sided games in favor, and that sort of mantle of control of the defense on Villa has shifted a little, but still, it becomes a little bit tough to dig your way in. Cowana are a team that once they build a couple of these rounds together, they get a bit stronger, a bit more confident, and it plays into them quite well, this map here.
0-1. Cowana, they need to perform here today. They cannot afford to lose points against Heroic. If they do, suddenly their chances of going to the majors start slipping away. So that is something they need to keep in mind. I think they need to get more points than Vitality and Rogue, but they play against one another. So, you know, there's always something to be gained there. I think an overtime win, and then it's a bit difficult. You know what? I'll get on it in a second from now just to see what exactly they need as Sloth opens up, or tries to open up rather.
They have some very well-placed drones here, but I think one of the things to note about Cowana is although they're playing these aggressive heavy holds in certain locations where they're happy to swing into the doors and swing into fight, as we saw Benja doing in Study, they're still not technically overextending. They're still keeping themselves within a sort of 2 meter, 3 meter, chain chomp range. They're biting, but they're not going too far from that little base corner. And I think that's one of the things that's causing Heroic a little bit of trouble right now is whenever they approach, suddenly they're being snapped at and yapped and they can't quite get the hold. Shukri drops in and dives much deeper. And I think they expected as they find themselves also tucked in onto the close corner on the bathroom. And Arkic has the smoke canisters to try and buy some time if they feel it necessary, with the Wamai discs buying themselves a little more safety.
All right, so I managed to figure it out. It's going to be Cowana that need 2 points. Then Vitality, they have the head-to-head over, so Rogue needs to win no matter what from Vitality to make it work out. That is eventually what Cowana look for if they have an overtime win. Of course, try and get more points in the end or equal to Vitality. Either way, 1 minute 30 left on the board. Smoke canisters are being tossed out plenty. Just a singular one left right now for Anarchic, as one of the airdrops actually pops off as well. I'm not quite sure where that was. It might have been on a roam down below, but look at the amount of utility that Heroic is currently just tossing around. You hear explosions, you hear flashbangs everywhere. They're not really able to get much ground yet.
That's it. Blaz actually finds and slivers his way down underneath to see if he can offer some support and a bit of countenance to anyone that might try and swing around on the Astro stairs. Gogona's doing everything he can try and dig in on this hard wall and see if he can put the pressure as Ben just starts to try and pop holes open underneath. Blaz is aware, but as I said, he is there to catch an unsuspecting prey, and with the stack up here, he's just waiting. And it might come now as Benja rounds the corner, gets caught out, and suddenly Heroic has a double body balance now. Narkic, he's still tucked on a close corner here, 40 seconds, and Grizzly's found his way back over towards the statue side. He's looking towards the breach, but with the door there too, it becomes very dangerous to hold on to. Another spray, a big fight, and Chaoxus suffers quite a lot, but it's Voy and Chaoxus, in fact, that lock off one apiece, are flawless for Heroic.
That is exactly what they need. A very good round from them here on their attack as well. The rest of the league will be watching this eagerly, knowing what is going to be potentially on the board here. Heroic with that very first round. Let's see if they can continue that. Cowana continue their rotation at least. as they go towards the dining room and the kitchen. Basically directly below the sites we have just played. A bit of a different kind of hold. Often still top floor is under heavy contention. And thus Heroic will still need to deal with that top floor. Most likely. Looking at the amount of self-destruction, there's not too much in terms of breaching charges with them. You know, no Ash, no Sledge, no Buck, no Zofia. But there is the Flores, so those could be used to potentially take care of some of that ceiling.
It was a very good take this time from Heroic. The way that, I mean, we sort of saw the fall apart over their first attack on AVG was they'd got a corner of space, but you needed more control. You didn't have room to grow or room to swing. Here, look at how quickly they got themselves into sort of the shower and the bathroom area and then put the pressure onto Astro so they could take over an entire side of the map. They not only had the breach and the pressure that they could apply from the bedroom, but they had that second angle. They had that countenance to be able to sort of go, okay, now we have some cross angles, now we have some split pressure. They attempted that on AVG, but with only about 30 seconds, 40 seconds left, it became very tough to try and get that solidity. Here, they did it so quick. And, well, no much quicker than that. Gorgona gone pretty much instantly.
Ooh, look at that. They have the information on the player. A grenade could be coming in right from underneath as Blaz is looking to find a pre-fire. Is just going to be able to put a couple of shots down to drop through. The hatch comes through, and they're aware of it. Thunder catches him off as he tries to ram a dash through the door into the piano, but doesn't come quite far. That's 2 entries here for Heroic. Will be very helpful if they want to continue their attacking spree.
A perfect demonstration of pre-placed drones and their importance away from the site, but look at that. Caught, perfected, and with the player ready underneath on the drop on the hatch on Art, that was just one of those textbook examples that you love to go, oh yeah, that's why I like how attacks come together on this game. Now, as they sort of widen themselves and put the pressure towards Benja and Narkic, both have suffered quite a lot. More drones find their way through, but with 2 minutes, they're going to open the hatch and give themselves a drop out. A grenade rolls past. Benja tries to lock off, but can't quite catch Shukri now, and yet again, Heroic have put themselves in such a solid position. Taking these 1 versus 1s, finding the fights, and finding themselves a steady creep of power over the map.
Heroic, just 2 members left they need to find, but there is the Cowana stations that will heal them up slightly. Slow still in a position he could strike from the back as he drops through the hatch, gets the very first shot, goes to the second, managed to get that kill as well, spots the third, but he is not allowed to come further than that. Blast will be able to shut him down. Anarchic has a bit of information due to these proximity scanners, and as he rotates through China all the way to the back of the kitchen, he knows exactly one is coming through that doorway very soon, but he swaps over towards Memorial. There's 2 players around there. Blast is holding right around the corner as the bulletproof utilities being taken care of. Surely that could have been a spot potentially. They should be aware that he's this close to the wall, and otherwise the RC Retiro will be giving away that information shortly.
There it is, utilizing the drones as they open up some of the utility here. Not entirely sure, but it might have just turned into a 2 versus 1 as Anarchic's trying to find something that's going on. I'm as puzzled as you, my friend.
Yeah, there you go. They got stuck. Oh, you gotta be careful. Maybe that starts blowing up. Actually, managed to get stuck inside the RC Retiro. The team kill comes through just to recover that diffuser. Still it's a 2v1 situation. Flashbangs coming in. Anarchic going aggressive right here on the corner into China. He needs to pick up these kills to keep Cowana into a good spot here. Otherwise, Heroic suddenly is gonna let them be puzzled. The first one comes in. The second one peeks around the corner. There's almost no time left. He needs to push. Blast, he needs to go for it. He still manages to get the kill. And Anarchic knows that he was this close to clutching out the round. Luckily for Heroic, they do manage to stay in it.
I mean, if that had gone away from Heroic, you would have felt bad for them. Obviously.
To see if they can fix whatever issue might be plaguing them, because they lost 2 players very early on here to Heroic due to them just droning out well. Taking out these roamers, suddenly you have a lot of free space to play with.
AVG was obviously the only success so far for Cowana, and let's see if they can double down, because to be honest, Heroic seem to have learned a lot of lessons from that first round, and they were lessons of pace and control, and since then they have been so good at just taking big bouts of Cavana's hold and defense and then punishing them as they go for the lockdown. And here, I guess it's down now to Cowana to, they're still going to have to step up their game here, because now those little holes and the pullbacks of Cowana that sort of stumbled Heroic and ended up costing them the round, that will be lessons learned this time.
Now, I do have some hot information from the press.
Give me some hot press information.
Apparently, Fresh has predicted Cowana. I thought he was banned from that by Cowana himself, because every time he does, they lose the game.
Wow.
Now, I'm not sure if that sticks here today. This might be the time the curse gets lifted, but otherwise, all fans, you know who to blame.
Yeah, because, you know, that's
how it works.
It's understandable.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, Heroic, again, quick entry here. Fire coming through, though. The angle is being watched, and Shukri just returns fire. Sloth gets picked up, and is again a very... How to get away with this? He picks up two yet once more. Cowana in shambles here, as they are completely losing out on the early round of the past three of them.
I mean, what a hell of an entrance to a party. Shukri has just made the grandest statement and then pushed his way further on. Cowana is going to see if he can slip a bit further back. He is another victim for Shukri 3, as the C4 did not quite connect. The Fink is able to get themselves a bit back up now, as Heroic have instantly found a massive mantle of power and success here. Grizzly at least gets one back underneath. Puts a bit of pressure and quickly tries to swing his way back towards the main stairs, so it's not just an R-kick, because the call will be, hey, there's just an R-kick on the site. So here, Heroic, they're in no rush, though. They have all the time in the world and a two-person body advantage, and they're going to make sure they make the most of it.
Well, this is going to be Heroic setting themselves up for a potential post plant. You already saw some of the Nomad air jips that come through. They're forcing them to come after them as soon as the plant goes down, specifically right behind the vault door. That's what they're aiming for. A bit of pressure down from below now as well. Grizzly gets picked up. It's a quad kill from Shukri. Is he going to be able to go for the ace? That's the big question here. And R-kick goes aggressive. They are getting themselves into a position to plant as Anna, he goes into study. There's an upside down repel stopping him from making any more impacts in this round, and it's Heroic that will be able to pick up yet another one. And suddenly Heroic, their attacks, they're all coming together. Shukri with a massive triple kill, a great double entry as well. Just need to win here to some extent to at least keep the day alive, because then it will not eventually be down to them. It will be between Vitality and Rogue to decide at the very final Playday. However, if Cowana lose this to Heroic with just regular time, the Playday is basically over. All four teams are locked in for the major in that case. It might just be seeding for the groups later on, because, you know, Vitality, Rogue, they might be able to swap some points. Team Empire, you know, they could be overtaken by Rogue, for example. But if this one is won by Heroic, those top four are locked in. Oh, this shot.
Okay, let's...
Beautiful.
Well, you're going to have to be the eyes for our program for today, because I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I can only see the game. Yeah, well, so for those who don't know, I don't have internet. I'm casting off of 4G, which means I'm trying not to overstress it. So I have just the game. I'm casting in its purest form.
Just everything you need, just the essentials, you know?
Just the essentials, the game, and
a connection to, I'm an essential.
Yeah, otherwise I would have to talk a lot, and probably
stress the voice, kill the voice,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's unfortunate.
Ooh, look at this. That's a different take. This time around from Heroic, they're stacking themselves up now towards Study. 3 bodies, quick hopping their way over the top to, I guess, see if they can broach this a new way. One thing to take in mind, though, is Thunder has the diffuser on the far opposite side.
Seems that a call has come through that most of them are right next to the balcony. And thus you see everybody rotating out. Now, this does actually give some free space to the 2 remaining members that are up on the top floor, and it's the first kill yet. Once more, Voy plays around the window and takes care of Benja, who just gets shut down like that. Cowana, again, losing the entry battle here on a defense-sided map. really not having too much luck, you would dare to say, or the gunfights go their way. But due to the early rotation we had, due to the early presence of Heroic onto the balcony, now suddenly Thunder and Shukri, well, they have free reign of actually entering from the other side of the map and just start bouncing through all the way to 90.
Now then, as they see if they can try and find their way through on a bit of a connection, they're looking to, I guess, take over and put some pressure down on the far side. They've been able to stack themselves a bit of control here onto landing, and they're going for a bit of a growth and a bit of extension here whilst keeping the single players on the other side. Goodbye, Sloth. Dropped and taken out on a bit of a split here as they find a little bit more pressure. Shukri almost goes down, but just escapes. The Finker will be able to get themselves back up. 3 charges. It's going to keep themselves going as the pressure comes onto strategy table.
Fire starts popping out. Gorgona needs to be careful with his steps right there, or his HP starts chipping away even more. An air jab comes through. He gets picked up. He was already being burned by his teammates' fire, but as the smoke canisters come out now, Shukri goes even more aggressive. It's just up to Anar right now. The plant is going down. Anar kick on a bit of a flank. He tries to go from the back. He might be able to catch 1 or 2 players off guard, but maybe not more than that. That's the first kill to come through. He needs to find 4 more. 40 seconds on the clock. The plant is right next to the vault door, but the rest of Heroic already set themselves up in post-plant positions. It's a scrappy fight right around the pillar on 90, and Blaz eventually will be winning this one out, and that means Heroic, with a 4-1 so far, have an opportunity to completely roll over the side of Cowana in that first split.
4-1. I mean, that is just a terrifying score, and to be fair, Heroic have earned it. It's not one of those sort of games where we're seeing a lot of these rounds go a little bit back and forth. It has been Heroic driving that entry figure, which has pretty much always gone into them. It has been that consistency of locking everything together, and that's just... it's dangerous, and it's dangerous for Cowana, who can't quite find a second to breathe, a second to mental. As I said, they're a team that likes to build a bit of momentum. They're a team that likes to build a bit of energy, and it reflects in their play. But so consistently having their huge gunners shut down on that entry statistic is really pulling them apart.
It definitely is, but I don't know if you remember Easy Dream all the way up to their current form. Every single time, they've been okay and even good at Villa. So I'm not quite sure if Cowana, you know, they banned out the map. They won from Heroic at least once before. I believe even 2 times before this year. And they bring it to Villa. And right now, Heroic, well, they're absolutely beating them up for it. They are getting 4 of these attacking rounds and have the opportunity to get the 5th. Cowana need to stop losing the entry battles, because if they do not, well, it's probably just going to be a repeat of the previous rounds we've seen.
Well, I'm curious to see what the potential here is, because we've seen Cowana try to lean into the aggression and get shot down. Maybe if they put a bit more caution into their guns, but so far, the few times that we've seen that, Heroic's generally been quite quick at getting a control of the space. They look towards opportunities. The pre-placed drones are really well sort of put together here, and that becomes the growth. That becomes the danger of what can, I guess, excel and grow from this moment in time. Now, as they're seeing if they can put a bit of a fight through, they're looking towards piano, looking towards any angles. It's Shukri yet again, holding the fight and finding it again.
As he has been picked up, of course, from the side of Death Row now. Starting to shine. Very good game from him so far.
I mean, 9-2. It's an understatement on a good game. He has just been terrifying, I think.
Now, I'm gonna have to tell you, I need to fix something. My PC is making a weird noise. I don't know what it is. It's just sticking, so you have to carry me for a bit.
I'll just let me know when you're back, as we find ourselves going in 4-1. Still in a position now with 1:20 on the clock. This is one of the slowest approaches that we've seen from Heroic so far, with Benja going to be the next fight around the door of Mudroom. But no, he's playing a bit more cautious than what we've seen Cowana play before, as another drone gets popped off and locked. They couldn't quite get the stop on the player that they wanted to, the spread. starts to come a little bit wider as that slow and steady crawl and creep of utility being popped on openings starts to come through. The rotation on the red stairs, and the pushing the drones to the floor above. A little bit of a catch on a goo mine, and there is the single player around the hatch right to the right-hand side, and that'll get caught out, but it's Grizzly that gets the spray through with a little bit of depth. They're able to finally find a player back and bring some of the body balance into their favor. They keep the verticality, 2 players above, and Heroic's going to see what they can do without that information. 40 seconds now. As Thunder's the next to suffer, the firefight from the top to the bottom is going to be one that rocks their world just a little. As Shukri tries to slow creep and crawl their way closer to the site itself. They're looking for one more player of Cowanas that they might be able to pull out of the situation as Thunder drives their way through right into the site. The C4 doesn't quite get the catch and is blown up by the laundry swing now as it sprays around. Bench is the next to go down. Might be able to crawl to a bit of a med kit, but with only 10 seconds, there's not much time. Shukri has to try and find the fight. It's a 2 versus 2. 1 as they get one more take. Grizzly is all that's left. He's going to creep his way around on the surplus staircase down towards it. There is just the man in the cover and a couple of seconds in it. Waits for the plant to come through. As the timer ticks over, can't get the angle, and it's Heroic that lock it off now 5-1. A bit of frustration from the side here of Cowana, but it has really been a heroic-sided Villa.
It definitely has been a heroic-sided Villa. And, well, Cowana, they now need to make sure that they get almost every... Well, they need to get every single round if they want to have a good opportunity of making it to the major here. Because if they don't, well, then the top 4 is locked in. Their dream ends yet once more prematurely. That is definitely not what they want. It's definitely not what the people want. You might be wondering why I sound a bit far away. I'm currently putting my PC back together as we're going. So I have a Tachanka Chibi inside of my PC, right? And I basically listen. I slammed my desk because it was a beautiful kill, right? I get a bit animated, but it basically pushed the Tachanka Chibi inside the fan of my CPU cooler. So that is the ticking I've had. So I had to remove the side panel to put the Tachanka Chibi back in place. But now I cannot screw the side panel back on. So I'm basically sitting here holding the side panel whilst casting the game.
Okay. I mean, you can just leave. No. Okay, Medics has just asked, why did you put a chibi inside the case? Having a case mascot. Yeah, having a case mascot isn't that peculiar. I know
I did it.
He's Dutch. He does a lot of strange things. But a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people in chat have little case mascots.
You know what? I'll show it as soon as we're done. We'll get back on cam. I'll show it.
Yeah, I don't have one. Maybe I should get one.
But you know, I fixed the issue. I've put back together the case so I can sit down in my chair again. So we're good.
That's good.
No worries. we're alive. BC, I was really wondering what happened, but I quickly saw it afterwards. So yeah. Just the MG has been scraped off a little bit, you know, but it is what it is.
Wow, fuck. 5-1. 5-1, we find ourselves. Cowana are eyeing up a quick hop into Mudroom, and Chaoxus might be the flaw in this plan right now. If this goes off, the pop comes through, and Chaoxus actually rotates the other way, finds a different angle. 4-4, they're going to see if they can stick the diffuser in the meantime. No, and Arctic pops his way back up. 3-3, and Shukri is suddenly locked off, a 2-2, but Chaoxus is down. Cowana might not know this, but they sure have the pickup in a second. There it is, Gorgona and Cowana with a quick, clean hot take.
Now, Anarchic died by a grenade there, but I believe that was Sloth actually running inside, had a grenade in his hand, got shot, dropped that grenade, and that killed Anarchic as soon as he secured that kill, but not quite sure. Either way, Cowana up their second round of the game so far. They need to find a couple more. They need to find 5 more to be exact to make sure that they're in a good running for that major spot. Anything less, and Heroic is going to be making it incredibly hard for them. They don't even make it to OT. Well, that is their dreams ended. That is the top 4 locked in. So a lot on the line on this matchup. Every other team that's currently in the top 4 is currently looking at Heroic, telling them to continue what they're currently doing. Whereas VP, they're most likely saying, please, Heroic, just go to OT, win it in OT for us, because that way we have an opportunity in the tiebreaker. That is the only way VP can make it.
So, if Heroic win this,
straight, like if they get three rounds.
Slow brain.
Yeah.
If they just straight win this, what happens?
So if they get 3 points, then it is BDS, Empire, Rogue, Vitality, all confirmed due to Virtus Pro losing the head-to-head about VP. Yeah,
Okay.
Vitality.
So it's that I guess little bittersweet irony here that Heroic, the team that were confirmed losers and relegated, are now the ones able to confirm who goes through on what was a game day where pretty much every single game had a team that was fighting for that, and it's Heroic that are the ones that can dictate this.
I'm just gonna say Challenger League, Sisu versus Penta. You know, Sisu not able to make it, but they kept Penta out of making it into the European League during one of those crazy seasons we've had. Heroic now can do the same. They can gatekeep Cowana outside of the major, and that is definitely something they are looking to achieve. Whereas Cowana, well, the pressure must be mounting for them now. Need to make sure that they get the next 5 rounds.
Well, that's a way to open it here as Blaz takes the first fight against Sloth and removes them and is able to actually pull some of this entry statistic. Not that they needed any more after how the first half of this game opened, but they stop it entirely going Kavana's favor after what was a very clean and quick entrance here. Kavana still do have a lot that they can work with there. They've put a lot of damage into Blaz, and there's no doctors on board on the site of Heroic this time round. So they're seeing if they can actually build behind this. They've lost, obviously, a lot of pocket utility that comes with an Iana. They do still have a fair amount of frags across the board.
Still a bunch of frag grenades they can use. Just some RC Roteros that are about to be coming through on the site, looking to find a piece of utility, and that might just take out both those ADSs. Yeah, there you have it. The shield now is still up, but it's going to be very vulnerable. So a potential grenade is going to be easily taking care of that one. As Grizzly just lost his last RC Rotero. Shield 1 has been opened up. Cowana, they have a minute left on the clock, but Blast still rotating around, still creeping around on the red stairs, and he's slowly trying to get back up top.
Well, they have an awareness of this sledge, but it's not an easy fight to take, especially when you're this injured and there's so much danger you have to spray through. But Benja, with his grenades, has gone a little bit further, so Blast will just sit in wait to hope that somebody slips a little bit closer to the fight round here. Obviously now, with Voy off the board, Kavana's been able to pull some of the body balance back to their favor, but it's making that pressure count. And with how spread out they generally are, all is not an easy position to set themselves up for trades. They're trying to find just a little bit of pressure that they can apply here over the top, and another grenade rolls, but again doesn't quite catch anybody. It's Blaz underneath that strikes against Benja.
Grenades, flashbangs, everything being tossed in. Anarchic jumps in, but doesn't check the walking closet. Gorgona goes for the plant. This could be the end of the dreams to come through. The plant gets cancelled. It's Heroic that pushes themselves towards match point. Now, you do not see the massive amount. Is that just quickly scrolling Twitter right there? Boy, I'm not quite sure. Either way, the happiness isn't there just quite yet. They haven't won the round, but they did just secure, I believe, one of the teams that could be making it. I think Empire are now safe. They are confirmed for the Mexico, that's a while back. Sweden Major, and maybe even Rogue. I'm not quite sure about that one. I think Rogue is also secure. No, Rogue not yet, because Cowana can still win an OT. Do they have? Okay. We're doing the big checking thing again. Let's see who has head-to-head over that one. I think Rogue had. Yeah, Rogue has it. So Rogue is also secured. So Empire and Rogue safe. Just 3 teams up left for the last final spots.
It's a lot of frustration from Cowana. You can sort of see it across the cams. You can see that it's a day where they definitely feel like they should have performed better, and they should have. Heroic has been such a good amount of pace in this game. And to be fair, although Heroic are the relegated team, the team that came in bottom, a lot of their games were heavy fights. A lot of their games went the distance or went close to. They just couldn't quite get the lockout energy at the end. Cowana, it's been a little bit hit and miss. It's always been exciting, but some days it's been they are, and some days it's been whoever's against them. And here, unfortunately for them, on the Playday, where that consistency was what they needed, it's just escaped them once again.
Could escape even more. Cowana still has an opportunity. Heroic, again, no pressure. They could make it to the major in the very final play they have had, right before this one. They fell a bit short. That means all the pressure is gone yet once more. And ever since that pressure is gone, they have been playing out of their minds. Absolutely incredible. And Sugary just picking up these kills, like left, right, and center, especially on the entries during the attack, has been so important for Heroic so far. And I just can't wait to see how this round will unfold.
Big angles being opened here by Cowana to see if they can get cross sights right deep into the heart of a site that I guess we're seeing more and more of an extension. You didn't used to see a hold that went into the library side and went into the sitting room side. It used to generally be locked in around above, but Thunder proves just why there is this extension now. These huge sight lines, the ability to cut them off as soon as they try and enter on the floor, as they swing around, drop it, take the drone as well. It's another entry that goes into the favor of Heroic here, and that has been a game that is entirely theirs. Thunder and Blaz, one apiece yet again. They're desperately trying to find something here out of this Heroic defense. Grenades going long, but another player drops down, and suddenly it is all down to the Cygorg. Gorgona is the last hope, the last swing here of Cowana's hopes of being able to pull this game further in, but with how Heroic have been playing, it's not easy.
It's definitely not easy. It's a 1-on-4 currently. Heroic are about to be locking in the top 4 of Europe for the Sweden Major. They can start packing. They can start booking their flights because all 4 teams will be confirmed in less than a minute from now, unless Gorgona is going to be able to pull up a miracle. Spots the first, gets a couple of shots down, but doesn't do enough damage to quite get the kill yet. To find a second angle, but just look at that. 3 guns all aimed at his direction. Heroic, they know it. A reload comes through of the LMG just to make sure that it's the final one of the game. On the side of Cowana, he wants to pick up these kills. He gets tagged yet once more, and it's Thunder with the very final kill. Heroic, they lock it off, and they lock in the top 4 of Europe.
Well, it's congratulations to Heroic, but also those sort of soft commiserations. A perfect example of what this team is capable of at a time where, unfortunately, they're already confirmed to be heading to Tier 2. And for Cowana, a rough day to end what's been a bit of a